Athletics Now presents Athletics World Weekly. In this edition, Mariam Jamal takes on the 1500 meters. Anna Chicharova continues a winning wave. Jen Scher out to prove Olympic gold with no blue. Ryan Bailey leads the new American Sprint Corps. Dawn Harper hurdles her way to the top. Mohammed Amin strives for 800-meter gold. While Yulia Zarapova pushes the limits of the steeplechase. And a look back at the 1995 World Championships Women's Marathon. All this and more on Athletics World Weekly. Stockholm's century-old Olympus Stadium is our first destination as we take on the second part of the athletics season. With a total of 83 world records, the 1912 Olympic Stadium is for many fans the most storied athletics pitch in the world. Now that another Olympic chapter has been written, the athletics world has moved back in a sense 100 years to the old stadium to go forward on an athletics field that is bustling with new Olympic champions. The women's 3,000-meter steeplechase was practically a recast of the London Olympic finals, as European champion, world champion, and now Olympic champion Yulia Zarapova had taken the lead on lap 3, but did not break away from the pack until 800 meters remained. Olympic silver medalist Habiba Jaribi of Tunisia seemed to be struggling in 5th place, as Ethiopian Tanish Neda and Kenyan Mercy Njoroge struggled in the wake of the flying Russian. With one lap to go, for a moment it seemed as though Zarapova might crack the 9-minute barrier, becoming the second woman to do so. But that ideal quickly gave way to the near superstar status of possible stadium record. Zarapova, in fantastic form, was pushing hard over the last 400 meters, although one could sense the slight missteps leading into the steeplechase barriers. However, the fatigue was justified as this was no tactical race. Zarapova was letting it all hang out as she was in full flight in hot pursuit of a world-leading time. With the focus on Zarapova and her impending stadium record, a re-energized Jaribi was making up lost turf on the East African's Neda Njoroge. As in London, the race for first was decided as Zarapova scored a stadium record 9:05:02. As the struggle for the lesser medals fell in favor of Jaribi, who stamps a 9:10 second place. Olympic high jump champion Anna Chicharova was in great form as she clean-carded all her jumps, including this winning effort at 2 meters. Chicharova had a great early season campaign, then jumped somewhat poorly in the lead-up to the Olympics. However, she got back on track at the right time and now carries the momentum over American Shantae Lowe. While Olympic glories carried over into the regular season for many, the men's 400 meters hurdles was the first post-Olympic race not to follow script. Felix Sanchez, perhaps the most emotional athletics gold medalist in London, was left behind coming into the final stretch by Trinidad's Jehu Gordon. Gordon sped to a substantial lead until his exuberance left him prey to the more constant speed of Sanchez and Olympic silver medalist Michael Tinsley. As Gordon fades, an unfortunate stumble kills his momentum as he struggles to stay upright, ultimately finishing 4th. Meanwhile, Tinsley holds off Sanchez to reverse the London placings of a week ago and record a 48:51 in the process. American Jill Scherr, surprise pole vault gold medalist of the London Games, looking for a big surprise as she has finally come down to earth after failing to clear her third attempt at an opening 5.85 height. Olympic silver medalist Yaroslav Silva of Cuba, still in excellent form, was able to clear this 470 barrier and take the win. Olympic bronze medalist Reese Hoffa stepped into the small circle and hoisted the big first round toss of 21 meters 24 centimeters to set the standard for the rest of the field. That field included two-time Olympic gold medalist Thomas Majewski. The Polish big man was unable to do any better than this third round second place effort of 21.01, 23 centimeters short of Hoffa. Men's 800 meters field featured controversial Olympic 1500 meter gold medalist Algerian Tufuk Maloufi, stepping down the distance to slug it out against a seasoned field of veterans. First lap splits of 49.5 put the field into a serious orbit as Sudan's Abu Bakr Kati in third was being outpaced by American Dwayne Solomon. The 27-year-old Solomon, a former California State High School 800 meter champion, is having a breakout year. He started the year without an Olympic qualifying A standard to his credit, but has now gone beyond that standard, placing fourth in the Olympic Games. As the pacemaker Ruben Bett of Kenya drops out, Solomon inherits the real lead as Maloufi in second, who has awakened the world to his victorious closing speed in the London Games, reminiscent of Herman Kacho's 1992 Olympic 1500 meter victory, is poised to repeat his closing speed strategy. However, Ethiopian Mohammed Amin had other ideas. What worked in London doesn't necessarily work in Stockholm, as Solomon drops quickly while Aman and Maloufi go man-to-man. The Ethiopian national record holder Amin managed to hold off the 24-year-old Algerian, recording a superb 1:43.56. Maloufi, while not first, will have to settle for a new personal best of 1:43.71. The women's 1500 meters featured Olympic bronze medalist Mariam Jamal, along with Abiba Aragawi, one of the latest Diamond League middle distance 2012 breakout rookies. The Ethiopian Aragawi is in rebound mode after a disappointing fifth-place Olympic finish. She was in the good company of Ethiopian turned Bahrainians Jamal and Mimi Balete, as well as indoor 3,000-meter champion Helen Obiri, along with the American duo of 2009 world champion bronze medalist Shannon Roberry and 2011 world champion Jenny Simpson. The fast pace on offer was taken up by no one as pacemaker 26-year-old 800-meter specialist Katerina Pina ran in virtual seclusion 20 meters clear of the field. By 800 meters, the herd settled into the 65-second lap range as the 2:11 split did nothing to break up the sturdy pack. As the final lap approached, it was apparent to this setup was guaranteed to deliver a last lap thriller. 3:01 with 400 meters to go would require a huge effort to deliver a sub-4 performance as originally scheduled. That time barrier looked out of reach with 200 meters to go as Aragawi and Balete were locked in a struggle for first. Jamal and Roberry were struggling for third as it looked as though the first two placings were settled. But on the home stretch, it was Jamal who seemed to have that sustained kick as she moved to the outside lane to give herself plenty of room to show off her overdrive. Jamal makes it look easy as she bends the will of her two opponents to take the first place offerings of the season's best 4:01.19, while Balete holds off the worn-down Aragawi 4:01.7 to 4:02.04. The women's 100-meter hurdles featured a strong field with the obvious exception of world and Olympic champion Sally Pearson, as well as American Lola Jones. Jones is targeted criticism from the Patriots' 08 Olympic champion and current silver medalist Don Harper in lane 5 and bronze medalist Ellie Wells in lane 6. The two accused Jones of being media darling despite never having won a major outdoor medal, while their own troubles have been largely ignored even though they have won major championships. Harper gets a quick start in lane 5, as does American Jenny Crawford in lane 1. As the field runs almost even, it is Harper and Belarusian Alina Kalei that pull ahead. Kalei fades a bit as well, comes up, takes second as Harper wins in 12.65. A quick time that puts Harper as the clear world number 2 hurdler. Ryan Bailey, the latest sprint sensation from the United States, was the feature attractions, as were Jamaica's Nesta Carter and Michael Frater. The rookie American in lane 4 did not have the best start, as Frater in 3 was slightly ahead of Bailey. By 60 meters, it was USA all the way, as Frater fades as Carter sneaks in for second. Bailey rounds to a 9.93 to claim his very first win on the professional circuit. Bailey is at the head of the next wave of U.S. sprinters after the Gatlins and Gays have stepped aside. The women's long jump was another post-Olympic letdown, as Yelena Sokolova of Russia hit the 6.82-meter effort on her second jump. American gold medalist Brittany Reese couldn't get the engine started and finished in 9th place. In the men's 3,000 meters, a 5-man squad of Kenyans, along with American Evan Jagger, were grouped together at the bell lap. They were headed by 5th-place Olympian Isaiah Koech. Koech, a 12:48 5,000-meter specialist, was followed closely by reigning 1,500-meter African champion Khalid Ndiku, as well as another 12:48 5,000-meter runner in the form of John Kipkoech. By the back stretch, the fast canter was soon a strident gallop, as Koech and Ndiku soon parted the way of the rest, including 08 world champion bronze medalist Edwin Soy. By the home stretch, Koech was in control, but it was a struggle to put away the still feisty Ndiku. But Koech digs in and prevails over his compatriot in 7:30.43, the second fastest time of the year. Kenya sweeps 1 through 5, with American Evan Jagger picking up an impressive 6th place. The Athletics World Weekly Flashback takes you to the 1995 World Championship Female Marathon.
An aerial view of the Ullevi Stadium. Gorgeous weather in Gothenburg on the opening days of the championships. Over 40 marathon runners in the women's race toe the line at the start of their 42.195 kilometer run. Big favourite was Machado of Portugal. She follows in a great tradition for the tiny nation on the Atlantic seaboard of Europe. Carlos Lopez won the men's marathon in the Olympic Games in 1984 in Los Angeles. Rosa Mutter, also an Olympic champion in Seoul. Mutter won no fewer than 3 European crowns before Machado followed her to that title in Helsinki last year. That's Machado on the right, getting away now from the World Cup champion Anuta Katuna of Romania. It later transpired that the officials had missed out a lap of the track at the start of the race, so Machado isn't going to break her personal best. Neither are the 2 women behind her as they originally thought, but victory to Machado of Portugal, carrying on that wonderful tradition of Portuguese marathon victories. Run in the heat of the day on a difficult course with temperatures rising up to 25 degrees centigrade. Manuela Machado, 7th in Tokyo, 2nd in Stuttgart, European and now world champion. Anuta Katuna, the World Cup champion, hangs in there for 2nd place and her best ever run in a major championships. An unexpected bronze medal for Italy. Ornella Ferrara finishes 3rd. But victory to Manuela Machado.
Athletics World Weekly heads to Woods Hole, Massachusetts for the 40th edition of the Falmouth Road Race. The 7-mile classic was hit with heavy night rains that stopped just before the race gun of the New England Summer Classic, making for typical sticky conditions in spite of a light wind. This, the 40th year of the annual New Balance Falmouth Road Race, featured a cast of 12,800 runners assembled at the Woods Hole start. 40 years ago, the accommodations were on order for a much smaller fan base, as 100 runners were laced up for the starting gun on that day. But like so many other things in the United States motor running, Frank Shorter's 1972 marathon victory was the genesis of this race and its appeal to the multitudes apparent by today's race crowd. The men's lead pack rambled through a relatively mild 440-ish pace for the hilly first 3 miles of the course. This resulted in a huge lead pack of some 15 runners who included defending champion Lucas Rotich. Rotich, 22 from Kenya, has a 26:43 track 10K time from the Brussels Diamond League meet last year. He was also second at the Portugal Half Marathon in September. Rotich has found success on the roads and has decided to make that his athletics focus after not being named to the 2012 Kenyan Olympic team at 10,000 meters. He was being paced by notables such as Stephen Kipchoge, who ran a 58-minute, 54-second half marathon in this year's Den Haag, Netherlands half marathon, which made quite a statement. Kipchoge also clocked a 2:08 Rotterdam marathon. The pack also included Paris Marathon winner Stanley Biwott, who stormed through a solo 2:05 course record time in the City of Lights. Very impressive. The women's side cruised along on a mild opening pace like the men, with a large pack going through relaxed splits in the 5:20 per mile range. Featured in that group was 2010 champ Ruth Ayala of Ethiopia, along with Kenya's Emily Chebet and recent track to road convert Margaret Wanjari. Like Rotich on the men's side, Wanjari has decided to pursue the lucrative American road circuit after not making the Kenyan 1,500-meter Olympic team. Back in the men's race, the big pack had been drilled down to a few as the pace dropped after 3 miles every succeeding marker. Mile 4, 4:43, Mile 5, 4:28, and 4:26 for Mile 6. That pace whittled the pack down from 8 to 6, and by 10K, a collection of 3, Biwott, Rotich, and Quebec. The 26-year-old Biwott made the first move just past the 10K mark and before the final climb. Rotich, however, was not about to give up his title without a last stand on the downhill homestretch. He launched a furious charge down the final hill, coming within a few feet of catching the front-running Biwott at the tail. But Biwott prevails as he hits the finish line in 31 minutes 59 seconds. That's 22 seconds slower than Rotich's time from last year. Rotich followed in 32:01, with Quebec 9 seconds back. The women's finish, like the men's, was a sprint from the top of the final stretch hill. Wanjari, in quick form from 1,500-meter training, was on her own in the final meters, winning in 36 minutes 54 seconds over Chebet in second place, 3 seconds behind, and the Yalu in third, 1 second behind Chebet.